Hey everyone, welcome to ACT Math Quick Hits. My name is Paul Beckvar. I'm a high school math teacher in Naperville, Illinois, and my goal is to get you better prepared for the Math SAT by going over problems, going over strategies, and going over content. Here's just a quick rundown. The digital ACT now has 45 questions in 50 minutes. So if you do the calculation, you have about 1 minute and 7 seconds per question. You do get the Desmos graphing calculator at every question, which is a huge advantage. However, ACT hasn't fully integrated that. So the word on the street is by 2026, it'll be fully integrated. So if you're a student right now looking to take your ACT, I would wait until 2026 to do so because that Desmos graphing calculator gives you a huge advantage on the test, which you will see throughout these videos. So you can see the breakdown of the content. You got that higher level math with those categories. You have integrated essential skills, and then modeling is incorporated throughout every category. Now, one more thing about the ACT. Out of the 45 questions, 4 of them are used by ACT for research purposes only. So what that means is they don't count against you, they don't count for you. However, they still take your time during the test to complete them. So we're going to go over questions from the practice test, and this is just the ACT website that has a lot of good free resources on it. We're going to do the untimed practice test here. So this link is available to you, so you can click on these links and do any practice on your own if you want. So when we click on that, it opens us into a new window. It gives us a few directions on taking the test, a little bit more information on the ACT, and then we roll right into the test. So our first question here says, Cameron took 4 tests and his scores were as follows: 100, 60, 80, 30, and then Cameron took a 5th test, which we don't know. That's why it's labeled as X. It tells us that the mean score of the 5 tests are 72. So what is that value of X? What did he get on that 5th test that has that mean or that average become 72? So Desmos is going to help us a lot, but again, if you look in the tools, the only thing they have is a scientific calculator. And we could do it with a scientific calculator, however, it's going to be way easier with Desmos. So we'll just use a web-based application for the video. And like I said, in 2026, this should be available to you. So since we're calculating the average or the mean of all of his scores, all we have to do is type in mean, and then just type in all the scores. So 100, separate them by commas, 60, 80, and 30. Now we can't put in the last score as X. However, what we can do now is we can just use the answer choices to figure out which one would calculate that mean to be 72. You can see right now Desmos does the calculation and tells us the mean is 67.5. So if we want our average to be a value higher than that, then we need a score that's higher than 67.5. So we can go back to our test and we can use some of the tools here, this answer eliminator. I can get rid of 54 because I know that's not going to make the average higher. 67.5 is the current average, so it's down to these two right here. So we could just guess and check if we wanted to. However, to get our average up substantially, we need a substantially higher value. So I start with that 90 and I put that 90 in, and I notice that my mean is now 72. So with Desmos, it makes that question really easy. I now know the answer to that is 90. So even though you probably don't really like this channel, your future self would be really happy if you would like and subscribe now so you can keep getting this ACT math help and all of these quick hits. Thank you.